Hello everyone, my name is Boris, and today I'm doing a WOD review of Wasian Iverson as part of my study for TFT. He had an amazing tournament run, managed to capitalize on the win, and this is the last game on which he managed to secure in a checkmate lobby his title and ticket to the Worlds. We're gonna start out here with a Navy and Ashe, probably gonna get rid of the Ashe quite soon. Yes, we do already. Pick up a Blitz pair, and I would assume a Nivea pair. Scouting around to see some people already having TF, angling the bilge line. In this lobby, we're going to see a lot of players playing for the first, as that's how you close out a checkmate lobby once you pass the point threshold. And still going to pick up a Lowy here for a potential TF high roll as a way out, but this is not the greatest of openers. We're slightly weak, maybe perhaps we're able to string something together. Okay, we get an RA drop. Haven't checked the Ionia, but not sure yet. Probably gonna not the greatest augment options either. So it'll be interesting how he manages to navigate the game. I would probably default on Worth the Wait. Double Trouble not exactly performing quite well at the moment, and Makeshift Armor. Well, it could be a good tempo in the early game. Our only slam is also only a Sterex, so I'm not sure, but gonna pass up on those. And then also Worth Wait, as we're probably defaulting Advanced Loan at that point. I would be looking at Advanced Loan as a possibility and then hoping that we do not get Prismatic Augment as next, as Hard Bargains highly limits our item choices. But it is a possibility for a fast 9 win out that way, however, I'm not sure. We're gonna pick up a Cryome River to just get an item sorted and probably play around the Ari in that case. Do pick up a TF, so we're instead gonna slam a Visage. Yeah, the Crimea River was an opportunity to jump for an Ari. I did not see what Ionia we've gotten, but here gonna just go into a bilge, see what other people are playing. Make 10 here as well, get the econ rolling, big slot and bilge. That's gonna, we see already we have a Lowy 2 shop as an upgrade that we'll be able to pick up for the next round. Are still, alright, so we know we sacked the Ionia package as well. Yeah, managed to get a somewhat lucky bilge bailout. There was another person with a bilge line as well that has been noticed, and I would assume it might be even 3 ways contested, so we'll see which variant we are able to move out to. Pick up a Lowy 2 from a natural shop, so we're able to save our serpents here. And just toggling Bilgewater in our game planner. However, it looks like alright, so we are mapping out the Lowy Ryze variant, so I assume we're gonna pick up the Lowy also from there, as we see that the other person might be angling a more natural bilge. Fighting Soju with spreading roots. Emblem Moments generally being very strong. Considering a spatula here, but Soju just snaps it, so we're gonna grab a belt to start sorting out even to guarantee essentially that we get the necessary amount of HP for the Volibear unlock. And if you're able to manage to get to a Lowy 3, then with the 4 Bruiser we're gonna get it. Considering slamming Sterex Gauge here, which is not a bad tank item on its own, and later on can be transitioned to the Volibear. Unfortunately, our... Right, so if I had a solo leveling here, our lost tree got broken, so we're trying to see if we can manage to start tempoing a little bit now. And with the Sterex Gauge slam here, we're able to stop the solo leveling from Tunington. Generally an augment that, even with a Briar 2, it's a good spot, but something that has seemed to be underperforming a little bit. We also, because wanting to snap the tempo and get our win streak going, we managed to put level to 5 and still making 30 here, so we're a very good econ. Fighting a weaker Echo reroll board, so we should be able to close out on a 3 win, which puts us in a pretty nice spot. I'm also interested in how he manages to navigate his build shops. Yeah, pick up Alawi here. Well, we get double Alawi. We have a double dupes already, so we're able, hopefully we'll be able to get that Alawi 3 rolling quite fast, and this is how this comp best capitalizes, by being able to stabilize on Alawi 3, going into the stage 3, and then leverage that as our tempo. Holding on to the Jin in case we would, yeah, because we saw the Jinx to make Econ. I'm gonna slot in the Quick Striker instead, it seems. Yeah, we're gonna play around 3 Quick Striker. And now alright, we're gonna use one of the dupes on the TF to manage our tempo, which is nicely recognized. Slam a Steadfast here, a decent, pretty good tank item, especially as a third one to capping out. Best synergizes with having other tank items. Unfortunately, drop around here to JD Zelinsky. And coming up here, we already saw that we circled the Lunar Lotus, which gives the best combat power. Sword is not exactly what we're looking for, another floating sword. And Glomify would just nuke our recon, and I'm not sure what the better lines to play around this patch would be on it. Yeah, just roll Golemify, roll Spear's Will. Looking now at Feed the Flames, however, we already have 3 tank items sorted. We will be really looking for some kind of damage on this board. And with the AP heavier meta, Best Friends has lost some of its value from the previous patch. But it's still a good default combat option. However, I do believe that we're going to go with the Jeweled Lotus here, exactly as we do. Able to pick up a Graves. Gonna probably slam the upgrade, or we're gonna hold onto it. Yeah, just gonna slam an upgrade here. Unfortunately, have not seen a Nautilus yet in our shop. So we're fighting another Spreading Roots board by Pokegun, playing around a Rek'Sai 2. With an interesting ammo combination, not exactly it seems fitting in. No, we have a Gunslinger tacked in. Rek'Sai 2 can do some pretty good work. Now we pick up a Knot here, we're able to slot in 5 builds to start stacking up some of those Serpents. Now, I'm interested to see if we go for a refresh here to try to fetch some more tank items. Not tank items, but damage items like a Brew. Would be primarily what we're looking at. Still lacking some of the damage on this board. But a very early nice recognition that we can play for the Ryze Bilgewater board, which is sometimes an option people miss out on. Unfortunately, I'm not able to pick up a Mammoth here, so we do end up going for Rod here, as we are going to be something that a Fizz can transition into a Fizz item, or something that we can use for... Now, did we toggle down here and to roll the shop on 3 bilge? Yeah, so we pick up a dupe and go for a restock on 3 bilge to get higher chances for an Ilaoi. Level up, slot in a Quick Striker here. Gonna jam the Gunblade on the TF, as we have a Quick Striker rather than a Gunslinger. Probably gonna be carrying around this Taric as well, and we do want to keep the Shen with us too, as that's gonna pair up with our Wukong later on. So instead we pick up a Scion, use the dupe now to be able to get Alawi 3 rolling a little bit later than we would perhaps preferred, but still we're high HP, have managed to string in a couple of wins by having a pretty good board. Fighting the Tunington's board, who has transitioned into a Slayer variation. Unfortunately, did not see a GP in their mix, which is probably what I also might be considering holding onto these couple of GPs just to delay them. Now, interested if we are gonna make this. This is probably better than the Naked Fizz one. But also, apparently, oh, and we get a Prismatic Orb drop that just gives us belts and reforgers. Unlocking a Kabuko here, slotting in, yeah, the GP2. Also, Riot has mentioned that if something is in your build shop, then it's also prevented from standard shops. So something like holding onto the The GP here is going to delay Tunington even more from being able to stabilize around the GP too. So now we're just going to jam some potential volley items on the GP. Have to make use of these belts somehow, leaving a floating open belt. Little buddies, already we see that he's going to probably reroll that, as it's not something that plays into this comp. Spirit Link is a good, and Exiles are good, both good combat options. We prefer Spirit Link, as Exiles is not going to be that great with having the Frozen Soldier, the Frozen Statue. A Rod could help us sort more damage items. Unfortunately, we have a floating belt and we made the red buff earlier. So maybe consider going for more combat power. Yeah, so we're going for more combat power through Spirit Link. And I think we should be able to unlock both Set and Volley this turn. Refreshing on 7 builds to try to fish for one of the better Ryze items, as there are a couple of very good Ryze items on from the build shop. And since he gets a build trait, we can use that. We could even take a brief look here at any potential Ryze items. So if we just do Ryze and we're gonna look at the other items, we can see that Black Market Explosives seem to be quite good, and Cutthroat getting extra bleed. Brew is not so great in the build in the Freljord line due to the ability to regame chill, and Deadman's Dagger is not that bad either, as we saw. Him pass up Deadman's Dagger for now. Also, Citrus is generally a better tank item and can be immediately go to our TK afterwards. Picking up a volley here. Still gonna greed 7 builds for Max Serpents. We are going a little low as we've dropped 2 rounds, and ideally would want to be at least a couple of lives. But we are mostly going to be looking to just skip. Yeah, so we reforge, contribute some of our Infantry Forgers to try to fish for more potential Ryze items. But yeah, we're going to be skipping level 8 to go to 9 and try to unlock a Ryze during neutrals ideally. Made the last minute sell on... I did not catch that, what unit was we were holding on. Gonna go for a chain, get a Titans on our Volibear here. Just looking to complete any items as we go, and hopefully preserve some HP as we've dropped a little low. Also 5 cost. Yeah, now we pick up the Deadman's Dagger, as we saw a good item on Ryze. Queuing into a Invoker board by Michael. This is one of the boards that might be also looking to play. I assume this is trying to see a way to pivot into some sort of rigs board, which is hard to navigate, but well, anyone in this lobby is more than capable of figuring out how to manage these lines. Being able to pick up a TK here, gonna drop the Citrus off, put it on a TK, and just move our Even Shroud onto the Laui. Now we have the Tuningtons, Slayer board. We're great that we are able to pick up a win here, but we are still a little bit on the poor side, so we might have to delay our level 9 to 5-2. Alright, now we're looking to see if we can get a... Alright, so we just bump it up, try to get to 9, and are able to... Yeah, to get a Ryze unlock going. Still on 2 lives, so... A little tense situation, but hopefully we can manage to high roll shops a little bit. Get the Ryze unlock. Are able to get... Transition... Yeah, we start fully transitioning the board. Also pick up a list pair. This must be a little last minute positioning mistake, trying to just fish also for a third Ryze item to do some damage. Transition the utility to Lycia, because we trapped our Volibear there, but still able to pick up a win, which is great for us. Now also a volley pair. Gonna refresh rather than going for this Fizz 2, because Fizz 2 without items isn't gonna do that much, and we're able to then capitalize on that extra econ to be able to find the Ryze 2. I'm fighting now a Ziggs 2 by Quintanilla. Now, yeah, we're able to get through it. The Ryze 2 has been enough, and we have enough beefy frontline to be able to sustain the Ziggs damage. And also we have the power through essentially 3 combo augments. This is the way that this comp can actually stay up to par with all the other stronger meta comps, is by simply having the extra power. Also interesting to see the positioning. Now we're fighting a lot weaker Ryze Ziggs board. Very fortunate for us that we managed to find Ryze 2 before the rest, so I would assume that was also one of the plans to just be able to push level 9 faster rather than delaying it, as otherwise all the copies would have been pulled out. Me first to 8, staying true to his name, sadly going 8, and Quintanilla is also out. However, we are simply now trying to find the TK2 and Volley 2, Volley 2 being the biggest thing we can get, also being able to pick up Shred here, which is going to help us quite a lot with our damage output. Just buying some cheaper stats to beef up our front line. Gonna lock the shop here for Braum 2, which is going to be a better tank than the Laui 3 at this stage in the game. Again, Tunington Slayer board. The chill should come in handy here, and also the Yordle damage reduction is able to get to stall enough for long enough to be able to capitalize out. Make the Braum 2. Just gonna keep buying probably more stats. However, the AP is not that bad also on the Ryze. Yeah, so fully sacking on one side to maybe perhaps drag the Garen out. Unfortunately, we do not. Bramble Garen is going to be stalling our volley. However, we have the Ryze and with the Jeweled Lotus to be able to dishing out enough damage. It seems that we have been slightly fortunate with our matchmaking. And also we have opted to play, but we still play for the 4 Bruiser variant. But yeah, we play with the... Alright, so this probably is the standard variant, yeah. It seems to be... Yeah, this is a gold sub, so we now get the extra gold influx. To be able to find more of our upgrades, get the Volley 2 finally, List 2. Still sadly sitting on TK1. Fighting a Bilge 4 board by JD Zielinski here. However, I believe that we have managed to reach a critical spike here. Now, I would assume that Soju is on a real contest. Gonna feed some Kench just more stats. Buy a little bit of AP here. Yeah, so we have the Soju's board, which seems to be an Ionia flex board. Yeah, playing around Ziggs and Ryze as well. However, it seems that he's only on not the greatest items on Ziggs and Ryze 1. Even though it's a ghost fight, I'm pretty certain that we're not gonna have that many problems fighting against the real. And also we get the TK2, so that's, I assume, should seal the deal for us now, be able to transition the items for TK. Also due to the extra stats, it seemed to be preferred to allow A3, especially, yeah, we have a 4 Bruiser in, so obviously allow A3 is going to be stronger than simply a traitless Braum. Well, traitless, well, Freljord is going to help him, but it's not, we're not running any Wardens here. It seems to be slightly close, but we simply have more damage. No Ryze 2. Still, Seraphine 1. It's a nicely made board by Soju, also playing around the Volibear. Just gonna feed the max HP, also pick up a free tier. Just gonna slam the Void Staff, whatever. Get a TG on the Braum for some even more frontline, and I believe that this is going to be sealing the deal. I do not see Soju being able to have enough damage to get through our front line. even with also an interesting set. Yeah, this is how Wasian does it. Manages to identify the spots early, playing around a TF to unlock Bilgewater and tempo the allow a3 into a Ryze board, by which is very capable of using the Bilgewater items. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.